Hello, Cancer. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope all of you guys are doing well. All right, Cancer. Now, with the cards that you're pulling here, I feel like there's a little bit of an underlying issue here that's like coming to the surface now and you're dealing with it. Now, from Lay Vampire, you pull Love Conquers All, Enduring Loyalty, Eternal Love, and Lasting Commitment. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pull Forgiveness. Now, Love Conquers All is talking about the power of love and how it can be renewed in your life, that love is all there is and how important it is to make it, a part of your everyday life. But forgiveness here is suggesting that some of you are needing to forgive yourself for being put in a position where you were hurt by somebody. Now, the card at a glance says that this card indicates healing and allowing yourself to return to the natural state of peace once again. Remember, we never forgive others. We only forgive ourselves for loving others who betray us. It is a time of personal evolution. Now, what I feel like is happening here is you needing to forgive somebody who has hurt you, but it's only because with Love Conquers All that a love is being renewed in your life. It's like the chapter's not done yet, right? Somebody is needing to forgive somebody else here. Now, the inspiration for this really is so important. This card is about transcending forgiveness because your focus is on your intention, not on the pain, right? Can you forgive yourself for loving people who hurt you? That seems to be the big thing here. But I think this is happening because something's being reignited with Love Conquers All. All right, Cancer, here we go. Here is your overall for the week. The Knight of Pentacles. So are you dragging ass or is the situation dragging ass? Oh, the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, it is about a slow-moving situation, but the other thing too is, I feel more so that we're doing things in a methodical way for a reason. It can also suggest that somebody is moving forward cautiously, right? The Knight of Pentacles is looked at as like the friend. It's a platonic relationship, things like that, right? But I feel more so that we're looking at a slow-moving situation on purpose, right? And it may be because, you're wanting to make sure that things are going to work out in the long term. But we'll see how this is playing out. So now in the past, the Hierophant. So sticking with traditions, big time between the two. The Hierophant, I get a lot of different feelings from that. For some people, it's, needing to get back to spirituality, right? After dealing with the difficulties of the five, dealing with all the hardships and physical reality. Now it's time to, get a spiritual understanding of what you've been through, but commitment, though, sticks out too with the Hierophant. It can be talking about the commitments that you've made. It can be talking about marriage. Or it could be you doing things in the traditional sense, right? Like wanting a traditional relationship, doing things that work for you. And it's doubled with the Knight of Pentacles here. So really, I feel like for you guys, it's about sticking to traditions, if I could talk right. But I also feel like it has to do with a commitment that was made in the past. Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, the Lovers. There it is. Okay, so in the present, the Lovers, right? Gemini, and you have Taurus, but beyond that, the Lovers in the present can be talking about a very significant relationship, especially with the Hierophant above it. This could be a marriage that, right? Like, are we working on things within a marriage? Were you married at one point and now, it's coming back around, right? It just depends. But the Lovers being in the present can talk about the major decisions that you're making in terms of your relationship too. Now, for those of you who are not looking at a relationship and we're looking at business, right? Because the Hierophant representing the higher institutions here, possibly, waiting on a loan or something like that, the Lovers can suggest you making a major choice in your life. If you're going to get money coming through, are you going to use it to go after things that are bad, or you're going to do the right thing, right? I mean, that's basically what it breaks down to. But I think, especially with the Oracle cards coming up here, that for some of you, we're looking at a marriage and we're making a choice right now on whether or not to make things work, and it may be a slow going process here with the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, I'm telling you. Now, and again, going back to, I feel like I'm talking to two different groups of people. Those who are not dealing with relationship issues and those, who are. So you've got the one group here, we're looking at financial issues, possibly student loans, definitely with the Page of Pentacles coming up here. And again, the Hierophant, higher institutions, also a higher education, right? But again, with the Lovers being front and center, it's about the choices that you're making. But the Page of Pentacles, in terms of those of you who are looking at relationship issues, this is really about wanting to get things going again. But with the Knight of Pentacles, again, it's slow going, it's methodical. We're planning things out this time, and like planning ahead for, setbacks or difficulties almost. But the Page of Pentacles, it's really about doing what it takes to get to, that long-term stability, right? Like the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles, both very hard-working, very dependable people. But this is the initial start of getting something going and making it reality, right? So we're working on it. We're working on things here. Your best path to follow, the Page of Wands. Go forward with enthusiasm and excitement. You have to look at this as, even though this may have been, a commitment that we've made in the past, there's like a newness here, and there's a need for you to move forward with a new sense of passion and enthusiasm with the Page of Wands. Now, again, going back to the other group that I'm talking to here, this is definitely about, getting some good news here, but right, like you need to move forward with passion regardless of the fact that you may not have any experience in what you're going after. That is the Page of Wands. But again, I feel more heavily like I'm leaning toward those of you who are really trying to make a relationship work right now. But again, the Page of Wands, excitement, enthusiasm, right? This one's very close to the Fool. But I don't think it's an issue of needing to have faith. It's more so going into it with a sense of newness, right? And excitement. In your environment, you're reevaluating things. Wow. Cancer, what the hell? Now, definitely, for those of you who are looking at financial situations, whatever that may be, whether it's, work, and again, going back to school, and that one sticks out the most to me. The Seven of Pentacles being in your environment is talking about you reevaluating what you have to show for the efforts that you put through. I don't really see this as a waiting card because we're talking about a 7. I feel like you've already done the waiting that you needed to do. You're seeing the initial results right now, but is it what you want, right? Then becomes the question. Do you continue doing things the same way, or are you going to change the way that you're doing things to continue growth? It's all about continuing the growth that you want to see. And very specifically for some of you having to do with a major relationship. I'm so sorry, you guys. This cold is just horrible. But you're reevaluating the decisions that you're making with a relationship for sure. For sure. Wow, Cancer. Okay. Now your hopes and your fears, the Three of Wands. Basically what this is saying, no matter what you're dealing with here, is that you're hoping that everything goes as planned, right? So with the Three of Wands, you've got the 2 planted. We've already acted on, the plans, right? We've made the plans, we've acted on it. You're holding the 1. We're looking at the long term, definitely looking at the long term. We're waiting to see how things are going to develop, but then also, like I said, it suggests that things are going as planned. That's what you're hoping for, that things are going to go as planned. If you're planning this, and you're planning on working on things, and like it's new, it's like a clean slate, right? It's hoping that things go well. And I like it. I mean, it doesn't feel bad. I don't feel a fear around this because of everything that you have going on, but with the Pentacles showing up here, it really suggests, being practical, right? Which worries me a little bit, because where's the emotion, Cancer? Like, I would expect to see, some kind of emotional connection here. But I think a lot of that is because, you've had difficulties, again, with forgiveness showing up, especially for those of you I'm talking to that are dealing with a relationship coming back through, right? We need to plan this out right. We need to do this right this time, right? But we have to be practical about what is really attainable. Oh, no. Why did I have to say anything about fucking emotions? God damn it. Oh, no. Why, Cancer? What the hell? The Five of Cups coming out of this. No. And it's almost like I don't think that... Oh, I hope not. What I was going to say is, with the Five of Cups coming out of the situation, some of you may still be focused on the fact that, you were hurt, you were disappointed before, and it may be hard for you to get past that and see the two cups that still remain, right? But the thing that I'm worried about here is that for some of you, you may end up getting disappointed by someone. And then the Three of Pentacles, continue, Cancer, continue to work on this. I just think that for some of you, you're stuck with, the hurt emotions of the past. I really think that that's like the big time issue coming out of this. But, this is like a warning here that, you need to make amends with whatever happened in the past if you're truly wanting things to work out. What do you really want? What do you really expect? What is really going to fulfill you and make you happy in this situation? What do you really want, right? The Three of Pentacles coming out of that is suggesting that you're really wanting to work on this, whatever it takes, right? This is really about working with this person to get to where you want to be, but you have to let go of the hurt emotions, but not just you, but them too. Like, it goes both ways, right? Ow, Cancer. Oh my goodness. Now, for those of you who are not dealing with a relationship, and I'm going to go back on this side because I really do feel like I'm talking to two different groups here. With the Five of Cups coming out, right, you could be facing disappointment or you're having a hard time getting things going because of past disappointments that, you need to be okay with and, go through that rebirth, right, with judgment. And really start putting forth the effort toward what you want. The Three of Pentacles, when you're looking at it in terms of work, this is somebody who's got a skill or a talent that they're showing off. It's also about collaborating with other people, working with someone toward the common goal, right? But I really feel like this is going to have to do with a relationship and the way that you're like practically looking at this and trying to plan this out better than what may have happened before, right? Wow. It's almost like we're not willing to give up on, a marriage or a major commitment here. So, especially in terms of work, right? And showing off what you can do, your unique gifts. But I feel like once you reconnect with Spirit, it's going to make it a little bit easier for you to, feel this sense of freedom, especially with the choices that you make in relationships. But your unique gifts are what is going to help you in moving forward with this. And making sure that everything goes as planned. You have a unique gift, whatever that may be. And that may be your ability to forgive people who have hurt you. It could be that simple, right? But then for some of you, the need to reconnect with Spirit is what's going to open up your unique gifts, right? And there's going to be freedom there for you to make the most of that. And then take a chance on love. Are you shitting me? When we start to love, our lives are changed forever. There you go, Cancer. But I think the big time message, though, coming out of this is if you want things to go as planned and you want to get this started, you're going to have to let go of whatever disappointments and emotional suffering that you have been through, because I really do think that this is past energy because of judgment being connected to this, right? You have the potential to make a situation work for you, right? As long as you lay down the plans and you stick to your plans here and you move forward with enthusiasm and passion, you may see the different growth that you want to see in your life. But I do think, again, that for a lot of you, this is going to have to do with a commitment that we're not willing to give up on just yet. All right, Cancer. So you guys are, and I still feel like I'm talking to two different groups here. The ones that are dealing with, things dealing with commitments in financial matters, going back to school is one of the things that sticks out to me here. I think coming out of this, you have to be careful about past disappointments or setbacks stopping you from continuing the work, but I think you do, right? With the Page of Pentacles being there, you're willing to put in the hard work, but it's doubled with the Knight of Pentacles. But I feel like I'm talking to those of you who are wanting to make a marriage work. There's a commitment that's coming through from the past, and with the Lovers, we're talking about a marriage here for sure. And with the Knight of Pentacles being front and center, I almost feel like you're planning for possible setbacks, which may be why the Five of Cups is coming out on this, but I do think that this isn't something that you're going to be looking forward to in the future. I think it's what you're still dealing with and what you need to purge out of your system here, with Judgment being next to it. But really it's about what you want and willing to, do the work necessary. And that's you and the other person. But, it's like you're planning this and you're hoping that everything goes as planned, and everything, I think, is going to be fine as long as you look at what the emotional issues are and fix it. But then also what sticks out to me here is the need for you to go forward with passion, a new sense of passion. It reminds me of the Fool, but it's really not about having faith, because it's not an issue with all this practical planning that's going on, right? Like everything better go as planned with as much as you're doing here with this. But, again, like I said, for a lot of you, I think that this is going to have to do with a marriage that, we're working on here, especially with these two. Now, as far as forgiveness, I do think that with the soul trees, definitely, your unique gift is being able to reconnect with spirit in times of difficulties, and it gives you a new sense of freedom. But I do think that one of your unique gifts is being able to forgive people who treat you like shit. That's Cancer, right? But I do think that, once you reconnect with spirit, you'll have a new sense of freedom to make the choices that you want, that are ultimately going to help you with, whatever it is you're deciding to do here. But I do think, again, marriage is what sticks out here. The heart of the matter and take a chance on love. Yeah. With the Lovers being there, yeah. But the heart of the matter is definitely what is coming out here with the Five of Cups. So Cancer, you're going to have to look at what the emotional issues are surrounding this. And I think you're going to be fine coming out, but don't let it affect your ability to put forth the effort to make a marriage work. Especially for those of you who are looking at this right now. And for those of you who are just looking at, getting a business started, going back to school, things like that. Don't let anything stop you from continuing to do this work. You may get a little bit of a setback, but I don't think that, this is anything you're looking forward to. I just think that, if you've experienced setbacks before, don't let it affect you in the future.